Radio Azad, and this is your host Aisha. Welcome to our segment, our weight loss segment with health and wellness coach Dr. Neelofer Basaria, जिसके जिनके बारे में पूरा शहर बात कर रहा है जनाब. और welcome to the show.
Thank you, Aisha. Happy New Year to you. I hope your New Year has started well with renewed energy, rigor,
Yes,
enthusiasm.
absolutely. It
Yes.
closed off beautifully with just feeling so much better about myself. So I'm hoping to sustain that through 2025.
I love it. Way to go.
Thank you. So, telling our listeners about Dr. Neelofer Basaria, you can check out her website, drbasaria.com, basaria.com. And she is running a New Year special right now. So, there's just a couple of slots left, and you can give her a call. You can text her 469 645 8681. If you go to her website, drbasaria.com, there's a free masterclass that you can watch as well. And look her up on Instagram also. It will change your life. I cannot tell you enough about it. So, Neelofer, let's get cracking on this because it's the new year. Everybody is talking about making resolutions, and number one on that resolution list is losing weight, right? And we know everything. We know what we're supposed to eat, how much we're supposed to exercise, and what we're not supposed to do. But unfortunately, we do this maybe for like the first week, and then it's just business as usual. So, what are some of the obstacles that prevent us actually from starting and continuing this on this weight loss journey?
What a wonderful question in this new year, Aisha. Thank you for asking. And before I talk about obstacles, I would first like to talk about resolution because that's where you started. And honestly speaking, I don't like resolutions because just like you said, after the first week, who knows what is the resolution? Like it will definitely die down by January, end of January or February, right? And we then at the end of the year, we are like, oh my God, this was my New Year resolution, and here it goes again, right? And nothing happens. So I am more fond of vision boards as opposed to creating resolutions. What vision board does is first you visualize what are your dreams, your aspirations, right? For your health, for your life in general. And um, creating a feeling around your dreams and your aspiration is very important. So
Okay.
when you visualize, there's some feeling, some emotion that is attached to it, and that helps you move forward. But a very important thing about vision board is it's sort of a daily reminder. It is in front of you. You actually stick it in a place where you can see it
See
every
it.
day,
Okay.
and that creates a reminder. But it vision board has your aspiration, but there is no timeline as such, so it's not pressurizing you
Mm-hmm.
to kind of achieve it right here and now. So you are not demotivating yourself, but you're sort of getting a reminder on a regular basis is this is where I want to go,
Hmm.
sort of a roadmap, right? And then you can create smart goals which are time bound around those aspirations.
Okay.
So generally, if you have tried resolutions and you have been disappointed, try creating a vision board
Mm-hmm.
and act according to what you want to create in your life. Create smart goals, and we will talk more about how to take action, like you were initially speaking about. So we
But
will
people
talk
may
more.
not know what is a vision board. So how would you describe that
Oh, we
to
have to
them?
do a full session on vision board.
Okay.
It's like it's a very detailed topic in itself,
Mm-hmm.
but
I think it would be a great idea is if we can
yes,
create vision boards with our listeners.
yes, absolutely, and we can do a show on that.
Okay.
Why not?
Okay.
But
Done.
generally, just wanted to throw that idea of start thinking in terms of creating a vision board,
Mm-hmm.
having some sort of daily reminder, and look up to, your aspirations, your dreams, as opposed to creating a resolution and then forgetting about it.
Hmm. So, what are some of these obstacles that?
Obstacles,
Hmm.
right? Yes. So let's talk about them. And as we were talking about it a little bit in the previous episode that we did, whenever people come to me, the biggest obstacle for them to get started is lack of time, lack of motivation,
Hmm.
right? Because people are busy, you have so many obligations with respect to your family, but work
Work.
schedules, social life.
Hmm.
So you don't have time to work on your goals, or health goals go to the back burner
Hmm.
generally,
Hmm.
because other things take its place, the
Yeah.
more pressing things, right?
Hmm.
So lack of time, and then lack of motivation, because you've done something time and time again and you have failed. So fear of failure loops into lack of motivation as well. So
Hmm.
so those are a couple of reasons, to begin with, that people don't get started. Because a lot of people, when they come to me, they're like, I need some help, I need some push, I need some motivation, because I have been failing on this,
Hmm.
and I've tried
Yeah.
quite a few times. And people generally, when they start, they make unrealistic expectations. That is also one of the barrier.
Like they're like, I want to lose 40 pounds or.
Yes, in a month or 3 months or 2 months,
Oh.
right? So that's very unrealistic. So, and then they fail, and then that turns into lack of motivation, and of course everybody is busy, so we don't have time to, you see how this is
Hmm.
creating a loop.
Yeah.
And then one of the very big obstacles that people come with is they don't know the right way. They don't have the knowledge, or the knowledge that they have gained is by looking at some of the reels on social media, or they see one thing here, one thing there, and then very quickly they
Yeah.
see something conflicting,
Hmm.
right? So information overload and conflicting information.
Hmm.
So lack of knowledge is also a very big obstacle,
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah.
if you're working with somebody who has the knowledge, who has the right steps for you, right, then it makes it so much easier, right? So for instance, like in my case, I have been trained in biochemistry, so which is chemistry of human body, which
Hmm.
is how food is functioning in your body,
Hmm.
right? So if somebody is guiding you, or if you have some surface level knowledge too, that helps.
Hmm.
But then pretty soon, if you're just getting your knowledge from
Here
seeing one
and
thing
there.
here, one
Yeah.
thing there, then you get into the loop of, okay, what is the right information?
Hmm.
So actually, it will make your journey really fast if you work with somebody who is knowledgeable in that field,
Hmm.
right? Of course, you, like as a radio host, you are very knowledgeable in the work that you do. A dentist is very knowledgeable in the work they do.
Right.
An oncologist is very knowledgeable in the work that they do. Like, we all have our professions.
Hmm.
So rather than doing something on your own, if you seek knowledge, seek professional expertise,
Yeah.
then it becomes much easier and it doesn't remain as an obstacle.
And I think this is such a great point because people you see on TikTok or Instagram, everybody has an opinion, everybody is an expert, and they may not be saying the right thing. You don't want to just go to a lay person and believe them for all these tips that they are putting out there because you don't know, the authenticity of and knowledge base that they have. So just because it's there on social media doesn't mean you should follow it blindly. I mean, even if it makes complete sense to you.
Yeah, and especially as it relates to your health, which is so
Yeah.
precious. Right. So that is one thing. The other thing is that people do, like if somebody, like there are doctors
Mm-hmm.
who have been my client, like, cardiologists, oncologists, people like who really understand human body.
Mm-hmm.
But then there is another nuance, which is, we know, like you were saying, in the beginning, that we know a lot of things, but just knowing is not enough.
Yeah.
It's about changing our behavior, taking action. Right.
Mm.
So you gotta work with somebody who is trained in that, who is
Yeah.
trained in human behavior, behavior change, and behavior change as it relates to your health.
Hmm.
So,
And
for
you
instance,
have a PhD in what?
in my doctorate is in public health practice.
Mm-hmm.
So, in that, I have literally studied human health behavior
Okay.
and how to change that.
Mm.
So, knowing something is one thing, and acting upon it is another.
Yeah.
Like, you know that sugar is not good for you, exercise is good for you, but
Yeah.
what happens, right? So, actually, until it comes into action and in your behavior, transformation doesn't happen. So, only having knowledge is also not enough.
Mm-hmm.
First, having the right knowledge, right steps, right? And then bringing it into action.
Right.
And we definitely want to talk about that, some, so that we can help people
Mm-hmm.
who want to do it on their own. But there is a point when you have to recognize that, yes, I tried and I got to this point, and maybe from here on I need some help.
Mm.
Right. So
Disco.
those things are very important, but generally these are the obstacles. And then some other obstacles are, lack of social support. So if you are hanging out with people
Mm-hmm.
who are also not making healthy choices, or in your family you're totally bogged down because everybody's kind of doing the same thing,
Yeah.
and you want to raise and you want to change things for you, and so then transmit it to your family.
I'm telling you, this is such an important point because two things. Like I remember, I just started your plan, and it was a close friend's birthday, and they were all like, "Okay, madam, what can you eat?" And I said, "Only salad." And we all went out to a salad bar because I could only eat salad, and all of them just ate salad, that evening. And I'll never forget that because, I mean, that's what having a tribe is all about, right? That's
Yes,
how you support each other. They were all very excited for me, and they're like, Acha, what can you eat? Okay, then why don't we go here? Or why don't we go there? Because then you'll be able to get whatever you want there. I mean, it wasn't even my birthday, but
yes.
बेचारी बर्थडे गर्ल को तो भूल ही गए थे कि वो क्या खाएगी.
And
And
it's also, see, Aisha, the way you adopted the program according to your lifestyle is also very important. um, in the beginning, you can, like, when we made your meal plan, there are so many options,
Mhm,
and the focus, your focus was brought more into eating healthy and vegetables, so you so chose,
mhm,
because you were, you wanted to make that change, and you adapted it, and you took a tribe with yourself,
yeah.
and you saw that that was also very supportive.
Mhm.
Otherwise, the friends would have taken you to the other place, right?
Yes.
So
नहीं नहीं खा लो कुछ नहीं होता.
exactly.
And that's exactly what kills you. And I have to say, these two groups of my friends were so incredibly supportive.
Yeah. So when you step up and want to take action, the people who are going to support you, sometimes you yourself feel so bogged down that you don't, you're like, okay, I took a step, but then again, the next time people bullied me, or,
Yeah.
they forced me into.
Mhm.
So you need to get proper training. You have to change your paradigm, your mindset. There's a lot of shifts that happen,
Yeah.
for which then when you stand for your own self, and you're like, okay, this is what we are doing, and in a very supportive way,
Yeah.
right? So there are a lot of pieces
A
that have
lot
to
of pieces. And I have to
come
say
together.
that what you said is that I used, whatever was what being cooked at home, my family ate the same thing, and it's like I just, like, say for example, they would eat chapati. I would not eat chapati. I would just have the meat or the chicken or whatever from the salan. Even salans were being cooked and everything. And I said, every meal we are going to have a salad. So lunch and dinner, and then my daughter was making smoothies for me, and we were all having smoothies and things like that. So it sort of became a health journey for the whole family, and they
Yes.
actually they benefited from it as well, and they loved it,
Yes.
and they saw the results,
Yes.
right?
That is what happens. All of my clients tell me that we signed up for ourselves, but it feels like, the entire family is sort of coming to together on this, and
Hmm.
everybody's benefiting.
Yeah.
Not that I tell all my clients, and you remember that, do not preach this to your family because they've not signed up for this, so
Yeah.
you're not bullying them to eat this or that or whatever,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
So but they all come together and they see
Yeah.
the benefits, and it just spreads, it's contagious.
It
It
is.
is in itself when you
Hmm.
do it and you show it as a role model. So yeah, support is another thing. And then a lot of times the barrier surrounds around emotional struggles, right? So
Hmm.
people have, like, relationship issues, or they are too busy with kids. So kids not only physically run you around, but there's a lot of mental strain
Hmm.
that occurs, right? Some people are chronically anxious or depressed, and for them to get started is, the
Yeah.
condition itself is a barrier. And
Hmm.
sometimes there are physical conditions such
Hmm.
as like chronic fatigue or injuries, lack of energy. So
Hmm.
physical barriers are also sometimes the obstacles that people face.
Hmm.
And a lot of my clients are also very perfectionist, or they're like, they go with all or nothing approach,
Hmm.
and which I have to train their mind on, that you cannot achieve this by being a perfectionist.
Yeah.
You have to live life, and you have to give yourself that grace
Hmm.
to work with yourself, and you are not going to be perfect. So again, unrealistic expectations, right?
Hmm.
And then there is no accountability, support and accountability
That's
surrounding
big
your.
one.
Yes. So that is also a very big obstacle, because sometimes my clients tell me that, I asked before starting this program, I asked some of my friends to kind of help me, and let's do it together.
Hmm.
And that lasted for a week or two or three, and then we all kind of got busy in our own lives, because there's not a professional who's holding your hand, whose
Hmm.
job it is to take you through the journey,
Hmm.
of 3, 4, 5, 6 months,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
So lack of accountability also. You make a lot of expectations from yourself, but then where do they go?
I think that accountability is a big one where we have to
Yes,
answer to somebody who's going to hold you accountable ke अच्छा क्या खाया क्या नहीं खाया क्या किया क्या
exactly.
नहीं किया are you
And if
doing
you're
this
stuck,
this
where are
this
you stuck, and how to
yeah
get you unstuck? Because we all get
exactly
stuck, right?
yes yes
So and then as humans, we forget, we try to find excuses, and these are very normal things for everybody.
yeah I think one of the biggest things that I've seen in people around me,
Mm.
and I know several people who have come up to me and they're like, oh, you're looking great and glowing. And I was like, yeah, you don't get this from Ozempic. Okay. So this is medicine free. But they like, we also need to lose like 10 pounds or 15 pounds or 20 pounds or whatever. बस हम कर लेंगे हो जाएगा
Mm.
कल हम चेयर योगा शुरू कर रहे हैं या कल हम कल हम मॉर्निंग वॉक शुरू कर रहे हैं दैट काइंड ऑफ थिंग but they've been doing this you know without sustaining it or they've been doing this unsuccessfully, those yo-yo diets that we talk about, fad diets and all that kind of stuff. What is it that you would tell somebody who's on the fence, okay, thinking about this and but they're like, nee, I think I'll try it by myself one more time? What would you tell them, like
Well,
tipping
trying
point?
on yourself is always good. Okay. But if you have seen a trend, like, when people come to me, they tell me, oh, I have a nutritionist from my work who is free of charge for me. And I, I will try to work with them.
Hmm.
Say, for instance, sometimes this is like, there's somebody who is there to help you, but she's been with me or under my insurance for last 2 years. But
Hmm.
have you used her?
No.
Okay. Is she a coach? Is she going to get you unstuck, or she's going to give you like a diet plan? Okay, eat this, eat that. And then you're like,
That's it.
okay, I cannot live with this. Like, I love
Hmm.
food and I want to eat my food.
Yeah.
Right. Or if you've seen a trend that, I do start And since this is new year, it's important because people do start in the new year. And you have been doing, a few things with your friends, but then they don't last.
Mm-hmm.
Or if you're going on diets, which
Mm.
you should completely avoid, don't go on this or that diet. You have to eat according to your body, eat intuitively, and what gives health to your individual body, which
Mm-hmm.
is everybody's DNA is different, everybody's blueprint is different, and what works for me, Aisha, it doesn't work for you,
Yeah.
and vice versa. So if you have seen that you are yo-yo dieting and it's been going on, why you are putting your health on the back burner?
Mm-hmm.
you know Health is the last thing that the health is the thing. Health sustains you, right? It goes with you
Yeah.
as you move in your life, right? If there is health, then you can earn better, you
Everything.
can become a better mom, a better employee, better at your business career, whatever goals you have, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So health should never go to the back burner. And if you've been seeing a trend, instead of denying it, accept it fully and take some action,
Mm.
right? If you've been trying to do it on your own and it doesn't work, there's the fact in front of you. So doing the same thing but expecting a different result
Result. Yeah.
is where it'll get you. So
Mm.
that's what I will tell you. If you really want to change, you have to change your approach.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, if you want a
Yeah.
better result, a different result, you have to change your approach.
Yeah. Absolutely. So let's say somebody signs up with the program, or starts this journey with
Mhm.
you, right? And then we're in for the long haul, because you don't want these great results to just fizzle
Vanish.
away.
Hmm. Yeah.
After you fall off the bandwagon, there is a party, koi cake, koi dessert, yeah, whatever, you go on a trip. And how do you stay motivated? What have you observed in people that you have coached, whether when they are coming on this weight loss journey with you? How do you keep people motivated?
See, first is we humans, we drive ourselves forward if we see some results,
Hmm.
right? So we are all seeking immediate results. Like we want to, you start a program and you want the result as
Yeah.
of like yesterday,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
So and Aisha, you have experienced this. When you take the right approach, and my approach is not prescribing you any diet, but making your gut healthy,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
So we go and we reduce inflammation, and you go to phase one of gut health right away as you start with me,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So when you calm inflammation down, when you take the right steps, you have witnessed this. Week one, week two, you start seeing the results. It's
Yeah.
not that, oh, after 12 weeks or after 2 3 months I'm going to start.
Right.
That's where it fizzles down for us.
Mm-hmm.
So we
Mm-hmm.
human, we want to see results, and the results come from the right approach.
Mm-hmm.
So that is one of the biggest things where I've seen that people want to do it and they continue. And then a lot of factors that I talked about in when we were discussing obstacles, when you take a different approach there,
Mm-hmm.
right? When you're not making unrealistic expectations, when you are not trying to be a perfectionist,
Mm-hmm.
when you're giving yourself the grace, when you are learning to bounce back from you went down, right? You did not do what you were supposed to do,
Mm-hmm.
but you did not stay there. You learn to bounce back, because as humans we are going to make mistakes,
Yeah.
we are going to get stuck, we're going to make wrong choices, right? But staying stuck there and going into that negative loop is something that will not help,
Mm.
right?
You get into a spiral, actually.
Exactly, exactly. And not getting there, right? Learning the ways to bring yourself back up
Mm-hmm.
and to stay motivated and to stay focused and to keep going.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the key, and that's what the job of a coach is. When
Mm.
they're working with you, they are totally in alignment with you, and they are understanding your struggles, and they're helping you to come back, and they're teaching you how to come back. And so
Yeah.
eventually my goal is that I leave your hand and you fly on your own,
Hmm.
right? But in the beginning, you need a lot of hand holding, a lot of help to kind
Right.
of get into that mindset, to get into that zone, to understand and to learn all those techniques, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that is very important. And then learning to manage your lifestyle and not putting your health on the background. So once people start working with me, they see that their health is utmost. Like that's how the vision board comes along, right? You have your health goals,
Mm-hmm.
and they're there in front of you. So a lot of times, when work is difficult, you have a lot of burnout from work, you are drained in your energy, is when you get demotivated.
Mm-hmm.
So working there, regulating your emotions, bringing your energy back, feeding yourself the foods that energizes your body,
Mm-hmm.
your individual body.
Mm-hmm.
And then a lot of times coming out of that negative loop, that negative self-talk, that's where a lot of mental emotional part of the program comes into play,
Mm-hmm.
right? I'm not good enough, I will not succeed,
Mm-hmm.
my body is different, there's something wrong with my body, I've been struggling with this for years, I see people who eat much more than me and they are fine.
Yeah.
you know this negative self-talk, it's very dangerous,
Mm.
right? So how to work with your emotions there, how to not compare yourself with others. And
Yeah.
social media does not help there,
No,
right?
not at all.
You're constantly looking at the feeds where you are comparing yourself with others, um and that creates a lot of frustration and demotivation.
And I think we self sabotage our behavior and our progress,
Exactly.
right? With
We
this
do.
negative self talk.
We do. We do. So there's a lot of mental emotional retraining
Mm-hmm.
that happens. And once you do that, you are kind of, and it's a process, it's a journey. It's not
Mm.
going to happen in one day.
Mm-hmm.
But if you are in this mindset, and as you're firming it up, as you're practicing, it gets firmed up,
Mm-hmm.
and you undo some of those loops, those patterns that you've been doing for years,
Yeah.
you know that you've been practicing for years. And then you know um, in my program, as you've seen, there's a lot of social support, right? So there's this group of women who are doing this together, and they understand each other, and they're all focused on the same goals, so
Mm-hmm.
they motivate each other, they support each other, they share ideas.
Mm-hmm.
And as humans, to take action, we really need that support system, and
Yeah.
especially when we're struggling with something,
Mm-hmm.
right? So
Group therapy.
group therapy, like every week you come and you are like re-energized,
Mm-hmm.
and somebody who's understanding you, who's in the same struggle, and who's supporting you, and who's giving you some motivation
Mm.
to keep going. So then you feel like, oh, I'm not alone in this journey, and here is something from somebody who's struggling just like me, right? So social support. And then a lot of times, people get demotivated when they hit a plateau.
Hmm.
And so when you work with a coach, they work with you to kind of untangle you or unstuck you from that.
Yeah.
So a lot of times, when I've seen some lack of motivation or lack of continuation happens when I'm stuck here and I cannot undo this,
Mm-hmm.
you know.
Right.
So,
Right.
and then there are so many more factors, but it'll take a longer time. But these are some very common things that I see where people do get demotivated, and I have to pull them
Hmm.
from that.
I know one of the things that we've talked about also is winter, right? It's getting dark, people are not outside as much, and somehow you just feel so much hungrier in winter and you have these god awful cravings. How do you deal with something like that? I mean,
Yes. So a lot of times, see, the of course our bodies' physical needs are to create a lot of warmth, and we create that with food. So we feel like we need to eat more, right? Because the food will burn in your body and it will produce heat, right, which you need. So there are specific foods for winter that when you eat, according to season, as you eat, you feel that your body is getting nourished in that season.
Okay.
But a lot of it also comes from, like Aisha, you just mentioned, that it's dark, it's depressing, right? So if you're not feeling good from within, if you're not joyful here in your heart, then that affects your mind and that shows up in your physical body, right? And then you reach out for food.
Yeah.
So a lot of times, again, the mental emotional aspect, the support aspect will help people to bring back their joy here in their heart, right? And then when the mind is functioning fine, you are taking the right decisions for your health,
Okay.
right? So it is physical need which changes according to season, but then there's mental emotional aspect that's
Goes hand
attached
in
to it.
hand.
And so you need something, especially during that time, to support you fully and support your whole being. So it's not just, if people can understand this, it's not just that, if these are the foods, I will eat broccoli, I will eat arugula, I will eat squash, I will eat beet, and I'm going to feel healthy. It's your whole being. So it's not just the food. A, you have to eat the right food for your body. But B, you have to completely support yourself. You have to feel happy from within. Your mind has to work according to how you want it to work, as opposed to you are working according to your mind and whatever it's creating. Right? A lot of time our mental story is not right. So we have to be in charge and on top of our mind and ruling our life,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So all of that has to change. Only eating broccoli will not do.
Yeah. Yeah.
So there are so many things
Yeah.
that are attached to it.
And I
Yeah.
have to confess, I mean, Kale and I are in a love hate relationship. We're just not getting anywhere. So, but but what happens when you get this craving, and it's just not going away? What is how do you let it pass?
See, Aisha, cravings are your triggers that are asking you to evaluate and to see where is the lack.
Mm.
So it's a pesky friend,
Mm.
right? It's really pushing you toward doing something better for yourself,
Okay.
but with a nuance. So if you fall for the craving, then you're eating and eating and eating and not stopping, or whatever. It's, whatever type of craving that is. But if you notice and bring your attention to, am I lacking things in my physical health or mental emotional health? That's where you will find the answer, that this craving is driving your attention to, either you are not sleeping, you're not eating well, you're not drinking water, you're not exercising, you're struggling with stress, you're struggling with relationship issues, there's something going on at work, right? So it's trying to bring your, why you are craving sugar, because there's something that's bothering you in your mind, and you're trying to satisfy it with
Right.
having some sugar and feeling good,
Mm.
right? So like we've discussed this, in the moment you have to ride the wave, and you ride the wave by breathing, like, giving some distraction to yourself. So you go for a walk, you do something healthy, you read a book, you talk to a friend,
Physically
rather
move.
than physically move, rather than giving up
In.
to that craving. In
Yeah.
the moment, ride the wave and distract yourself, or just push it so that you don't go for that sugar, because the sugar is on your mind. So giving yourself a break, pausing, and taking that moment before taking that action, just pause, give yourself some break, and say, what can I do which is healthy and distract myself from this right now?
Okay. Okay.
And then bringing your attention to, okay, what is the deeper issue?
Mm.
Where am I lacking that I'm getting this craving every day?
Mm.
What's going on here?
Yeah.
Right? So that's how you work with cravings.
I see.
Cravings are your triggers that are knocking the door to bring your attention to something which you are kind of forgetting, overlooking, pushing down,
Mm.
not facing, like, head on.
Right. Right. Okay. Wonderful. Anything else that you'd like to add?
Well, I would definitely want people to take action, and for that, we should discuss a few things.
Mm-hmm.
What do they do to take action?
Mm-hmm.
Because I just don't want you to listen and get motivated, and then forget about it. And
Mm-hmm.
especially, in the new year, we are charged and we want to take some action,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So I would definitely want to talk about some of that if you allow me to.
Yes. Yes. Absolutely.
Okay, so in the action place, in the action, when we are talking about action, the first and most important thing, and Aisha, you know this, is we have to create SMART goals.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so rather than saying, in this year I want to work on my health or I want to be more healthy,
Mm-hmm.
okay, say
Mm-hmm.
for instance, um, we want to create SMART goals. So SMART goals are very specific. S is for specific, M is for they should be
Measurable.
measurable,
Mm-hmm.
A is they should be achievable,
Mm-hmm.
it should not be unrealistic expectations,
Mm-hmm.
right? Relevant to whatever your dream, your aspiration is, and then T is for time
Time.
bound.
Mm.
Okay, so make smart goals around whatever your dream is. If your dream is to create good health,
Mm-hmm.
so rather than saying that I'm going to, be healthy this year, create a small goal around movement, that I will exercise 3 times a week,
For 30
for 30
minutes.
minutes.
Yeah.
You see? So it's very specific, it's
Mm-hmm.
measurable, it's achievable, it's relevant to your dream, and it's time bound.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So that will
Absolutely.
really, really help you rather than, having these broad goals. So
Mm-hmm.
first step, make smart goals. And the second thing is build, start small and then build.
Mm-hmm.
So rather than saying, okay, I want to lose 30 pounds in 1 month, how about I will lose 1 to 2 pounds per week?
Mm.
This seemed like, okay,
Achievable.
doable, achievable, I can bite it. And then, if I'm doing good, you may end up losing 2 3 pounds,
Mm.
4 pounds. Some people, in my program, I'm amazed, they come the next week and they're like, oh, I'm 4 pounds down, right? So they're taking the right action,
Mm.
right? They're taking the right approach, which is giving them the results. But you're not pressurizing yourself with, okay, I have to lose like 5 pounds per week, 20 pounds in a month.
Yeah.
That's too much.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and that's what starts the demotivation. So small goals, bite size, and build on that.
Mm.
If you don't have time to exercise for 30 minutes, how about 10 minutes?
Yeah.
And then if you like it, then you can add 5 more minutes,
Mm.
right?
Or break it up in twice a day.
Yeah, exactly. Break it up,
Mm.
based on, how busy you are. You're like, okay, 10 minutes here, 10 minutes there.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing which is very helpful in taking action is focus on one thing first.
Mm-hmm.
So, one step at a time. So, say, like in my program, we start with your physical health, your nutrition, right? So, say if you are not sleeping, if you're not exercising, if you're not drinking water, you don't have to start on everything together. You're
Mm-hmm.
very stressed.
Mm-hmm.
You take your gradual approach, okay, and you start with, say, food. So if you're focusing on food, just hone on that
Mm-hmm.
for a few weeks,
Yeah.
and then take another goal, and then take another goal. Say sleep is an issue, and see which is the low hanging fruit, like which is easy to do.
Yeah. And I found that even, instead of those lofty goals, I would just focus on the next meal. So at breakfast, plan your and of course planning is so important, right? You make your meal plan for a week, it
Yes.
just helps so
Yes.
much. You've shopped exactly what you need, and you've purged your pantry of all the bad stuff,
Yeah.
and then you was like, okay, so I have, this is breakfast, okay, this is what I'm going to have for lunch, and then you focus on the next meal instead of like, you know down the road you're thinking of, okay, now what will I do for dinner, or what's going to be breakfast the next day. So if you just plan this and just take it one meal at a time, I think that it's like managing things in small bite-sized portions.
Yes, yes, you read my mind, Aisha. So exactly that is where I was getting that, you know, we talked about small, smart goals, start small, build on it,
Mm-hmm.
focus on one area, one meal, and planning.
Mm.
Planning around it is such a key.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you are thinking of eating right, actually sitting, planning your meals, making sure you have the ingredients. If
Mm-hmm.
you don't, just
Yeah.
scheduling a time to shop for it and then have a few things ready so that when the time comes to eat, you're not like, you're like, oh, I don't have anything. So let me
Mm-hmm.
just go and grab that chips or, a quick burger.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So if you have things already ready
Yeah.
and kind of partly prepared, then fixing it quickly when you come from work,
Yeah.
like, in 10 minutes, 15 minutes, so much easier when you are
Mm.
tired and drained and exhausted,
Cranky and hangry.
cranked. Exactly. So help yourself there by
Mm.
planning a little when you are in the right headspace at that time. Make use of that time.
Mm.
So you know 80-20% rule, right? So you put an effort like 20% and you get results on
80%.
80% of the time. So when you are in the right headspace, plan, prepare, and there you go.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing will stop you. Even yourself cannot stop you because you have things ready. Or say if you have thought about exercising, how we schedule our meetings on our calendar,
Mm-hmm.
and we are not late for that.
Yeah.
This is your commitment to yourself. This is the most important meeting.
Absolutely.
Schedule it on your calendar,
Mm.
right? So planning, preparing, having your mindset, getting yourself ready mentally, putting it down in your schedule, very, very important.
Mm-hmm.
And then last but not the least, there are many more steps, but just for people to get started and take some action, the help that we want to provide here
Mm-hmm.
is try to track your progress. You
Mm.
are, first of all, your own accountability partner,
Mm-hmm.
right? So track your progress. If you said that I'm going to exercise for 30 minutes 3 days a week, did you do that?
Right.
Right? Or say if I want to eat my meals at the right time,
Mm-hmm.
because I keep on delaying, I forget, and then toward the end of the day, I eat,
Everything
whatever.
I can get my hands on.
Exactly. So if you have a small goal of, okay, I'm going to try to eat my meals
Mm-hmm.
on time, track it. How many
Mm-hmm.
days did you, or say if you want to start small and you want to say, okay, for 3 days in a week, I'm going to do it
Mm-hmm.
because I'm very busy and I know I cannot commit right now for all 6, 7 days. Did you do it? Right? So, tracking your progress will give you some accountability and that will help you to keep moving forward.
Yeah.
So those are some of the things that I will tell people to do to take action. But say
Mm-hmm.
if you've done a few things here and then you're still struggling, you are in that loop and you need help.
You need an
So do
expert.
not deny yourself that help that you need. There are so many people. There is so much help available, and now more than before, things are easy to access.
Yeah. She does her sessions on Zoom. So, nothing can be easier than
Yeah.
that. Phone calls and Zoom. So really at the click of a button.
Exactly.
I want to give out Dr. Basaria's number 469-645-8681, 469-645-8681. And met so many people in the last month or so. And they all said, what have you done? And I said, I've joined her program. And I tell them just one thing. And I said, it's the best investment you will ever make. Best investment you'll ever make for yourself.
Thank you, Aisha. I love
So,
this. So I hope that, like you have met, some people who worked with me like 2 years back, 3 years back.
mhm.
Of course, I want you to be an example,
Yes.
moving forward like that. But it's all about also not only taking action, but taking action for forever. This is
Mhm.
going to become your life,
Yeah.
right? And that's where real transformation, real change occurs.
Mhm.
So and that's where my heart is. Sustainability, you know how to bounce back.
Yeah.
You are eventually your accountability partner.
Yeah.
This has become such a second nature to you that now there's no way without
Yeah,
it.
you have the tools. So even if you indulge in something that you're not supposed to, after answering to Dr. Basaria, then she will teach you the tools to be like, okay, that's okay. So now this is what you're going to do the next day, or the next day, or the next week to counter, what you have done. So you can check it out, drbasaria.com. It is, time when we do think about eating better, feeling better, exercising more, and starting the new year right. So the only thing that's stopping you is right here, honestly. Let's quickly take a caller and then wrap up the show. Radio Azad, you're on the air.
जी अस्सलाम वालेकुम आशा
जी
and Neelofer.
जी शायद जी.
Walaikum salam.
I think she nailed it, and all those were all of my. Those are actually all of my excuses.
Mhm.
Been there, done that, afraid of being failed, and since you were, I was successful in the past, and I'm afraid of failing also. And
Mhm.
I think she did put everything in a such a frame
Mhm.
that I think I actually felt like that, yes, she is talking about me. And
Yeah.
we are, I think, all at that place
Mhm.
where we are literally afraid of making commitment.
Mhm.
That's where I am. Like, I'm literally, I know I want to do it. I know what I need to do it. I know all those things, but then I have to be accountable for myself also.
Yeah. And
And I have to be accountable for the person who is helping to do it
yeah.
also.
And you know what, Shahida ji, I think a lot of people are afraid of the time commitment, or the time that it's going to involve. And really, it really is not that much. You're self propelled, and the help is there when you need it. But otherwise, you are just doing it by yourself, and the time commitment really is not that much at all. So people who are afraid of that, oh, I'm so busy, मैं कैसे cope करूंगी? No,
It
it's
is
Yeah,
just
I
one
think,
hour
but
a
for
week
me,
1 hour
it's
a
not
week.
that.
when
For
you
me, it
meet
is
with me.
Yeah.
most of the commitment.
Mhm.
That once I commit it,
Yeah.
then I have to deliver.
Yeah.
Because if I don't deliver it, then mentally I am going to feel like, okay, I am a failure because I made a commitment, but I did not deliver it.
Yeah. Have you come
How do
across
you
that?
handle
I
that?
will not let you, right?
There.
That's the thing with working with a coach, that
Mm.
when you're working on your own, you don't deliver, you get into that loop of failure and um, expectations and things like that. But when you are actively seeking help, from someone who's going to keep lifting you up,
Hmm.
they're not going to let you go. That's their job,
Yeah.
right? So
Mhm.
that's why I tell people to seek help, because this is specifically, people who do this work are specifically trained.
Yeah.
They know that this is your struggle,
Yeah.
right? So
Mhm.
they
Mhm.
will lift you, they will bring you out, and then you will fly. You
Mm.
just have to get unstuck, and you just have to bring it into your life where it becomes, a part of your lifestyle, and then you will go on your own,
Yeah.
right?
All right, Shahidaji. Thank you so
Okay,
much.
thank you very much. Thank you.
All right, 469-645-8681. Neelofer, thank you so much for all the great tips.
Absolutely.
As Shaida ji said, I felt you were also talking to me inside my head. You can do a free consultation with Dr. Basaria, and she will answer any of your questions about all these things. And her New Year discounted program just has, I think, 2 spots left, the last that she told me. So please don't delay. Like I said, it's the best investment you will ever make. Why? You're making that investment in yourself. And there's nothing more important than that. Thank you so much. We are completely out of time. Anything else you'd like to add?
No, thank you so much, Aisha. And it just makes my heart happy whenever I see you thriving and happy and vibrant, and
Thank
just
you.
just keep it up.
Thank you
I love it.
so much for changing my life. Yesterday at our team meeting, one of my team members said that, they're like, Dr. Basaria has changed Aisha ji's life. And I said, yes, you're absolutely right.
Well,
So
you have equally worked, Aisha, and the credit goes to. And so is with
it's
all my
partnership.
clients. Yes, it is a partnership.
All right. Thank you so much. Stay tuned. Lots more coming up on Radio Azad. So do download our Radio Azad free app on the App Store or Google Play.